Mob Psycho 100? More like Mob Player 100. How many girls does this guy have? What's up? It's Truth Hero, and welcome to this Mob Psycho 100 Season 2 Episode 1 review. Now, before we discuss everything going on with Emmy and Mob getting a girlfriend, and yeah, I'm as surprised as you are, Reigen, let's first quickly recap this episode, as there was a lot of different things that happened throughout it. Now, this episode opens with Mob and Reigen going out to this guy's farm in order to exercise a spirit that's messing with his harvest. But the interesting thing here is that this is not how it took place in the manga. If you remember at the end of Mob Psycho 100 Season 1, everyone defeats Claw and they go home. The next chapter in the manga, without spoiling too much for you guys, as I haven't even read it all myself, would be the meeting of the Psychic Helmet Cult, led by Misato right now, and they're trying to find their leader, who is actually Mob, and recruit new members. I think it's very interesting that these scenes were actually switched, because it sets the tone for Mob Psycho 100 Season 2. It's going to be more about interpersonal relationships, whether that's between Mob and Reigen on these side missions, or Mob and his middle school peers. It's also going to show us that there's going to be more side quests between Reigen and Mob, instead of a slow march to a final boss like we saw in Season 1 at the end where they defeat Claw. Besides this, we have the elections for the Student Council President. Now, Mob would no way in hell do this ever, except for the fact that Misato convinces him that if he does win president, he'll impress Tsubomi-Chan. So obviously he's gonna do it. He takes his chance, and that works out wonderfully for him. The only other thing to note here is that the kid who was previously president won again. So I haven't read this far into the manga, I really only read past the first episode, but it seems like he could be a future antagonist for Mob, or at least these sort of factions between middle schools. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for. Mob gets a girlfriend. I know, shocking, right? But what's even funnier here is everyone's reaction to this news. They just can't believe it. They think it's some supernatural event, which shouldn't be a big deal in this universe, but they just can't conceive it. They can't see how someone like Mob could possibly land a date. It's almost offensive. It's like a backhanded compliment to your friend. Like, yeah, buddy, congratulations on the girlfriend. I guess there's still hope for the ugly dudes in the world. Hurtful. Also, this is Reigen's worst nightmare because we all know if Mob has a girlfriend, he's not going to the office. So Mob gets this girlfriend Emmy and he walks her home every day. However, this sets up an interesting contrast. We have Mob who isn't really about Emmy. He likes Tsubomi-Chan, so he's just trying to be nice to her and almost be a gentleman and walk her home. But at the same time, you have Emmy over here who lost a bet, and hence that's the reason why she's even going out with him in the first place. She's too scared to tell him that she lost this bet because she doesn't want to hurt his feelings. It shows that both characters are truly genuine, yet naive of what you should do in this social situation. As we know, Mob Psycho 100 has a theme of showing us how Mob, usually, is the oblivious one, but it's interesting to see two characters who are oblivious and don't know how to interact in this situation coming together and the conflict that ensues. In a sense, both Mob and Emmy are actually leading each other on. In Mob being a gentleman and walking her home every day, but without having feelings for her, as we know he likes Tsubomi-Chan, he's, well, pitying her. And the same is true with Emmy, in her pitying Mob for maybe freezing at his speech and not telling him about the bet in order to protect his feelings. She's not doing him any good. She needs to let him down easy and correctly. The scenes with Emmy and Mob walking home from school together were actually done really well. I don't know about you guys, but I felt a sense of middle school nostalgia. Unfortunately, in middle school, I was that kid who was too nice and led people on. But relating to a middle schooler in an anime, much less an anime with psychic powers, is often hard for an audience, and if it wasn't for the humor in Mob Psycho, this certainly did it. We can all relate to being too nice or not knowing these social conventions when we're younger, and perhaps leading people astray. But if we didn't have enough proof that Mob was not aware of emotions yet truly a genuinely caring person, there is the novel scene with Emmy at the end of this episode. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I started to tear up. As you know, Emmy writes a novel and her friends get a hold of it, and they're not too supportive. They ask, "Were you doing this out of boredom?" And they eventually rip it up. To defend her feelings, Emily says, "Yes, I was just doing this out of boredom. Ha ha ha." We as an audience can clearly see that she is disturbed inside and she is saddened, but she has to play it off. But the reason why this scene is so important and so emotional is because the one person who had the social awareness in this situation to see past that facade and to see her true emotions was Mob. The kid who never shows emotions. The kid who barely even knows what emotions are. Well, I guess it's safe to say that Mob is making some good progress. This is also the first time that Mob shows anyone his psychic power on his own accord, so perhaps Mob and Emmy could have a thing in the future. And by that I mean friendship, because we all saw Tsubomi-Chan hanging around. Apparently, if you stand up for some other girl, then the girl of your dreams will like you. So, I guess Mob is now smooth. I'm very excited to see what's going to happen next between Mob and Tsubomi-Chan. We know that she knows he exists now, and she has a good opinion of him. She thinks he's very kind. And I think that is really the theme of this episode, showing Mob's other side. We know that he's not good at political speeches. We know that he's awkward, but that's what Mob Psycho is about. And this episode perfectly captured the theme of Mob Psycho. It perfectly set the tone for Season 2. It had his awkward moments balanced with him being genuine and kind. It had these hilarious moments with Reigen balanced with these very heartfelt moments. And of course, some cliffhanger to leave us all wondering, Tsubomi-Chan saying, "Smooth." As always, thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments below, are you Team Emmy or Team Tsubomi-Chan? If you like these Mob Psycho 100 reviews, let me know in the comments and I will do more, and be sure to like the video. And so you don't go 100 on your friends, keep it here at Truth Hero by hitting that subscribe button. And until next time, peace.